Pigments. Have you ever tried these? These are new from Seint Beauty. Let's play around. This is the 4th time that I have used them and I'm still learning. But what's so great is I've been playing with color for some time now and the concept is still the same. It's just a different medium. I do have an additional tutorial that I shared yesterday. It's about 12 minutes long. So when you have 12 minutes, go check it out. That was my 2nd time using it. And so, okay, so this is my 3rd time. Losing track. So let's get started. When using these pressed pigments, you can use them, they're very versatile. So you can use them as eyeshadows, your blush, your lips, or you can use it for toning your skin or balancing color, which is my favorite way to use color. And I will use just this color, and I won't use all of these, for a full face of makeup. And just with these, I can have so much versatility. Now in my palette, I have 2 additional, and these are creams when these are just pigment. Don't really want to call it a powder, but it isn't like in a powder form. It's not cream, of course, but it's pigment that's been pressed, has very few fillers and things to, fillers and binders in it. That's typically in eyeshadows. Not that that's a bad thing, it's because it's for a different purpose. These guys are going to be mostly pigment. When you look at ratio of fillers and binders and pigment, this is going to be on the pigment end is going to be a big number, okay? So your payoff is going to be much better with color and using very little product. I would say these are going to last a very, 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 very long time. Now, the cream correctors, they last a very long time as well, but I have 2 of those because these are going to subtract some color, and it's definitely cream, so it's in here, and I need it to subtract excess because you may have to do that a little bit, but we do that at the end. And then I also have in here is a cream contour that I use for my brows. I did try out Cowboy, this one. It's a neutral green, and I tried it out on my brows, thinking ashy tones, that kind of thing. But this was it was just a little too yellow green for brows, so just playing around with it. Thinking ladies that typically want to use like an ashy brown like oak or something like that, or medium brown and a pencil for brows. I was just playing around to see if that worked. And on me, it didn't as much, but I used some velvet. I need something a little more depth and a little more blue in it for filling in my brows, which I have already done. So if you're gonna use these like I'm showing you now, and you're gonna use it right on bare skin, I highly recommend to prep the skin, use your skincare, and then if you like a primer, use a primer that has no color in it, or you can use a balm. But typically balms to me on the skin you're just creating a cream product like your correctors, which is fine too. I like something that's a little thinner, that's going to prep the skin, and when the pigment touches the skin there, look, my thumb is still a little red from playing with these colors. When you take a little bit of, I lost my train of thought. Flitter. Oh, so when you have the primer or whatever, I like something a little thinner on the skin, then when the pigment goes on there, it's like you've created this liquid form of color, which is ideal because it's not going to leave any kind of texture, because anything in a liquid form is going to be nice and easy. And because this is easy to handle and to carry around, because right in this, it's in that powdered form. And then when it touches the skin and gets in with whatever primer or prep that you have on the skin, it's just going to make it into a liquid. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm in love with this. I'm not a big primer wearer, and I never have been. They're sticky, and it's another layer product, and I've just never been a fan. But when we have this, the Plush Prep Mist, it's like skincare. It's just wonderful. It's just an addition to your skincare, but it definitely preps the skin. And I want you to watch something. When I put this on, and I want you to know this happens to you too, when you touch your skin, whether with your hands or a brush, how red it gets. Oxygen comes to the skin, and it doesn't take like harsh movement of the skin to bring blood flow to the skin. So keep that in mind when you're trying to apply product and color, to let the skin rest sometimes, especially at the very end, and let it rest for a couple of minutes and then look back and reassess. But I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so this is the Plush Prep Mist, and it doesn't matter how many times I do this, I still don't want to back up. I watch when I'm editing tutorials where I use that, I look and I'm thinking, I'm backing way up. I'm afraid of it. But I like to make sure I get it everywhere. This has hyaluronic acid, so it's really gonna bring in, I'm gonna get my neck, some moisture in, and at the same time, it has caffeine in it, so it's gonna wake up the skin. It just enhances your skincare. Now, I've already done my brows. I used the brow gel, and then I used Velvet. So, see how pink? And I'm just barely touching my skin. And you can see it gets pink and red. And the older I get, the more it's like that. So just keep that in mind. Your skin will do the same. It might be small amounts, but it's still gonna bring some pink to the skin. Excuse me, I'm gonna get a drink of water. All right, let's get started. And I may fumble through this because, like I said, this is the third time of creating a tutorial and doing it live. I don't know if you can still see it on my fingers, but I was playing around with the colors, experimenting, of course. Love them. Okay, I didn't get any of the blues and greens. I questioned whether I needed this one. But I got all the reds and corals and violets and all the neutrals that is available. And that's all I'm gonna use. I typically would not wear blue and green for eyeshadow. That's just my preference. I'll probably end up getting some to put in my artist kit for in-persons. But I just typically, it's not my go-to to wear blue and green. I already have enough blue veins on my face and green veins on my face to add blue and green to my eyes. And I definitely have tattooed eyeliner, which I'm all the time trying to neutralize, and I just don't want to enhance that. So I didn't get any of those colors. Hey, I'm glad you're here. I hope my connection's good. Every time I use the live later, yay, Jacqueline. If you see anything floating around in my hair, I just been working in the yard with straw and grass seed, and you'll hear the dogs in the back. We've got our son's dog, and he's hanging out back there with Gypsy, and our backyard that's fenced in where they continuously run. They have killed the grass, so we're trying to, perfect connection, good. We're trying to help that out. So we layer down a huge thick thing of straw. So I said when we got done, I said, all right, I'm gonna go do a live and play in makeup before I lose good lighting. Okay, so yeah, sometimes, my husband, sometimes it'll say my connection's not good. So I turn the TV off and everything else. So I'm hoping we have enough good connection that it doesn't get blurry and not a very good clear picture. All right, let's get started. I'm going to warm up my skin, and I have been using, oh shucks, I'm gonna forget the names now. I'm learning new names all over again. Santa Fe. Now I would say, and excuse me, I know some people are like, you know, always reverting back to the Demi colors. If those that like neutral orange, here you go, okay? Very, very similar. And keep in mind, when you're looking at the pigments in the tin, now these are my correctors, when you're looking at the pigment in the tin, you're looking at all the pigment that is in that tin, and it's very saturated. But you're gonna be applying it onto skin, and it's going to just like be so fine and use it so little. much, not like would you use any of the creams, just very, very little. And what that on the skin, you're thinking it's going to make me orange looking. It actually is going to use the color of your skin plus that together and create another color. And what's so fun about these two, you can layer these and create another color. It's very versatile. All right, so I want to use the bigger end of the bright brush. I could use a smaller area. Your skin, your face might be different. If you have a lot of hyperpigmentation on your forehead, which is very common, use a smaller so you can go around the pigmentation. These are all gonna have, the neutrals are gonna have depth in it, so you don't wanna put it over something that already has excess color. All right, so you saw like that. That is such a little amount. I just touched it twice, barely laid in there. You don't get in there like eyeshadow and load up the brush. You don't have to do that because you don't have as many fillers and binders like you do an eyeshadow. And I am going to just find little light areas, and see I got too much right there, but I'm not going to sweat it because they are blendable. They're not going to get like you put it there and it's stuck on the skin. But like I said before, if you have a lot of hyperpigmentation on your forehead, use a smaller end of the brush. Like, the other thing I've experienced is I'm such a habit of picking up more cream or whatever to get more product. If I just take time and look at my brush, there's still plenty in there. That's how little you need. So you see how this is just kind of bony and thin? That's what I mean by just warming up. And you could look at this like bronzer in a way. The tiniest amount. Please ask any questions about this. I mean, ask away. It's just so much easier going live, showing you a product. Although the algorithm, you know, lives are for followers. And so that's what I want, is the followers to be able to get what they need. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And literally, there is. Now look, let me show you how. I don't want you to get stuck on this color for me, that color for you, this color will work here, and that. Just play with it. So I'm just right here going to experiment. I'm going to use the small. No, I'm actually going to use the bigger end again. I'm just wiping it on a napkin. I forgot I put my cleaning towel in here, or you can put it on a cleaning towel. I'm going to pick up a little bit of Cowboy. Now Cowboy's got green in it, which means it's got some blue in it, right? This is like NG. It's very similar to NG. So it's got blue in it. It's going to have more depth. Let's say you wanted more contouring or sculpting in an area. Because this is green and this is more of a neutral orange, it's going to create a even deeper neutral. Do you see how that just gave me a little more depth right in there? I used to have some hyperpigmentation there, and I wouldn't be able to go over that with this because it's just going to make it darker. But I just want to show you how you can very lightly adjust color if needed. The gray hair that's coming through, I keep thinking like, am I bald there? That's gray hair. Okay. So like I said, I'll probably fumble through, but I'm just jumping on here, going live with you guys, playing around with these colors, because to me it's easier just to go live to teach you. Okay, what do you think so far? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. Do you see how it's just super light in here? But I do want the other day I used the Santa Fe right in there. Today I'm going to experiment with Cowboy in there. And since it's a Santa Fe, could work similar, yeah. NR, it is, think of anything icy or pale or ashy. This is going to warm it up, okay? And at the same time, since it's a neutral, means it has a little bit of blue in it, depth in it. It's going to drop in depth of color, okay? If you just want, you already have depth of color and you just want to warm it up, you would move to something like Days or something that has less of the blue in it. Okay, I'm going to use, I'm trying to decide. See, this little area is larger, but it's not as large as this. So I'm going to switch to the small end, and I'm going to use just a hint of Santa Fe. And notice when I lay down my brush, I'm getting it on one side and then laying the brush down like this, and that way one side of the brush is clean and one side does not have the product. Oh yes, that's why I'm just thrilled about them. Think of, okay, so like this cream product right here has pigments, this pigment in it. Then it has a binders and fillers in it and emollients in it, so what makes it glide on the skin and be delivered to the skin, that kind of thing. All right, these have less of all of that, so you only have the pigment that's already in here. So you use so little of it. So when I use the Plush Prep Mist or a primer, whichever I would suggest using, then when it gets into contact with that, it basically, it's not a powder on your skin. It's basically turning into, I don't want to say it turns into liquid, but the pigment mixes with the oils and the primer that's on your face and creates this liquid type color, which liquid is ideal to show no texture. Does that help? Do you see, like, see how that's just a lot warmer compared to, see that right here? So, you know, makes me look like your cheek's really red here and this is really white. So it just makes me look sickly and hollow. Good. So I'm just going to use that little Santa Fe. Look, see I have a red spot there. If I ever have a bump that's healing or anything like that, it will stay pink for the longest time. I think it's because of being fair. See how I went around that with this small brush? Also, I'm going to say none of these neutrals or these colors are going to subtract any depth of color. They're always going to drop in, and these are going to switch the tone of the color that's on your skin, okay? It's not going to take away the volume or how much depth the skin has. But guys, look, let me tell you something. You don't have to understand all that and understand any color theory to just get these and to play with them. Okay, you wouldn't use these three right here. I put right here to remind me. This is Ladybug, and I love it. This is Guava, and this is Days. Now these have huge, you know, in order to get something super saturated in red, you gotta have a lot of the pigment. So this has tons of the red pigment in it. And red pigment, perfect to use with Demi. Perfect with the Demi method concept. Ideal. It's even better, okay? These have so much of that red pigment in it. That's the reason why these are not going to be under the category of Seint under eyeshadows, because these red have less of the fillers and the binders in it. So it's just pigment, and red pigment can be an irritant to some people, not all. Near delicate skin of the eyes. That doesn't mean cheeks and lips and everywhere, just around the eyes. The skin around the eyes is so different, so fine, and you know, it's a lot of like liquid and moisture around there. So you wouldn't use those around the eyes, but perfect for lips and cheeks. So just know that. I forgot what I was doing. Please ask any questions. Perfect for Demi. Do you see how I'm just using this to color? And I'm using, use the Santa Fe just to warm up, right like where it's a bronzer. I'm gonna do the same thing on the lip. Do you see how it looks icy? I find a lot of ladies, especially if you're on the mature side and you're fair skin, you'll get like this bluish violet color around in here because the skin gets really thin in this area. It's a very overuse and a lot of touching in this area. Yes, I want to use Cowboy under the eyes. I just warm it up underneath here. I could use the Santa Fe underneath there, but I do like the depth of Cowboy underneath there. So I don't want you to think there's a right and a wrong, or it's always going to be this one. I could play around with all these in that area because they're all going to drop in color. Okay, does that help? So right in here, good. Super icy, violet looking. So this is a lot easier with this product to do this right in here, because sometimes with the contours that I was doing in here, or even the tanner, it would have too much depth in it. So this is perfect. And look, you see no product on the skin with it. Do you see how that just gave me some depth there, and it helped the lip kind of go up a little because it's not coming down and icy looking. So same thing here. I think I'm going to switch to Cowboy, and the reason why is it's got some depth in it, so it will help change those angles of my face. And I'm going to switch brushes to the point brush. I've actually put my Old Faithful over to the side, and I haven't picked it up since. All right, so this is the point brush. It's perfect, okay? And I'm going to use Cowboy, and I'm only going to touch it on one side. Literally, guys, it takes a little. Here, I'll zoom in. You know, if you see any bits of straw in my hair, y'all have to let me know. Okay. I hear Mike's music. He's outside working. See, I got too much, but I ain't gonna sweat it. I'm just gonna leave it alone right now. I hear the roosters too. So now it's like it's created a marker for me. Look, I still have product in there. I'm not gonna pick it up. And so this gave me more freedom to work the product. It makes it faster because I'm not having to pick up more. Okay, guys. It takes so little. It's like you can be a little less hyper-focused. You don't have to like zero in to all of the little small details. You've got room to make a mistake. Do you see this right here? It's always there. It's like there is zero pigment there. Now another thing, look at that. Don't that look good? It's like it's gone. Just the part that's kind of raised up a little bit, I'm adding a little depth to that using Cowboy. Look, see, that's gone. It's like there's no pigment there. It's probably sun damage from way on back. Now look, that is so much better. You know, this is my trouble eye. This is the one that gives me so much issue. This has made it so much better. Now, if I'm talking in circles or anything, because My mind is going in 1,000 different directions, especially when I'm playing with new products. I will get distracted, so help me stay on task. When I started, I used powder, contour, and bronzer, and it was good, but it didn't last. And the reason why, because of the bronzers and the powders have fillers and binders in them. That doesn't make it a bad thing. It's how it's delivered. When you're using nothing but the pigment, and then you have like a mist, something like that, it literally is into liquid form. So the longevity of this, unbelievable. I was always impressed with our older products, Demi, how long, and it's because using very little product. And I would see tons and tons of tips and tricks for how to get your makeup last longer is to add more product, and that, no, it's gonna look good for 30 minutes and then it's gonna crack. See guys, this I always gave me issues, and this has made it so much easier. And all I'm using is Cowboy and dotting into little light spots. It's so different than this eye. It's like it's spider webby kind of color in there. So I'd always have to take a little extra time, but with this medium, with the type of medium it is to add color now, is so much easier. Now I could some people would say, okay, that's taking too much time using a little brush or whatever. Why not, if it looks like you're doing the whole area? Someone's asked me that question, why not use a bigger brush and just sweep the whole area? And okay, you can do that, but it's not the whole area. And I am not touching the whole area. You see how tiny this brush is? I'm basically pixelating the color. So if you just sweep it into a whole area to take care of spotches of color, then you're going back to square one, because whatever had excess color is going to show up now. And so now you've created something else. So taking a little bit of the time, just, I love it. Can y'all hear Mike's music out there in the yard? He's must have moved to the front, I don't know. So now I'm just gonna use Cowboy on my nose. This little area right here, always, it's like areas around the nose, close to the eyes. If it's very white skin, or it's almost like scar tissue from sun damage, I guess, and it's hard to get anything to stick to it. This is like magic. And it doesn't, the struggles to have with contours on the nose. If you have a very textured nose, I do have very large pores and broken capillaries and everything, so it's very textured. Contours, even using it minimally, I would always get just a little bit of texture with it, or it would settle in my pores, you know? The cream correctors, the sculpts that we had did pretty good, but we don't have those no more. But I now understand why. That always, as Kara said, she's always been innovative and creating new. So she wanted to make it better, and I believe her. She did. Yes, I find my skin gives me trouble in places to get the product to fill in. Yes. Which areas are your most troubled? I'm just using this Cowboy. You see how I'm just dotting, and do you see how it's looking less textured and colored? And really and truly, like, red spots are not as bad. So you're gonna find doing this is going to reduce how much subtracting you have of excess color. Eyes and cheeks and spots, yes. See what I'm doing here? See that if you have a deep crease here, all right, if you have a deep crease here, if you'll look, right next to that dark is something light. And it's, you see that I got too much, I'm just tapping it away. It's, if you'll look right next to it, there's going to be some splotchy white areas. Yes, it does do that. Yeah, I did struggle with that. It might look good for the moment, and then eventually it does make them, and it makes your nose look dirty. It was better than like contouring your nose, but now you're not gonna have that problem. And don't think cowboy just works for me and it's not gonna work for you. Like I said, don't get hung up on the colors. It's going to work with many skin tones. And now if you're young and you don't have a lot of issues and stuff, you're gonna probably use a bigger brush, and you can be a little more less precise that I'm doing. But do you see what happened to that crease right there? Just adding depth of color right next to the dark, reducing that high contrast, softened that line. Now if I go to the other side of it and see this little area in here that's super light, I already warmed it up with the Santa Fe. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of cowboy. Got too much, I'm not gonna sweat it. That's the reason why on the brush, I probably picked up too much. Bad habits, just because I'm just into a different medium. But do you see what? See, I can just color like a crayon. It's like you have a whole artist palette here, guys. Look how soft that line got. Can you show using a larger brush? Or you can't? Yes, you can use a larger brush. You can use a larger brush. Just know that when you use a larger brush, I would not, honestly, I would not use the shape brush. I would not use the size of this brush. I would only go to something like this, because the more bristles you have, the more pigment you're going to pick up. Now, if you're wearing, you're going to need very little of the color. Then you can build it. I would go very small, like this. And then if you need more, you could do more. But it's hard to reverse when you get too much. Yes, why am I using a small brush? Well, because I don't need all that color everywhere, because I want it to look like my skin. I want it to look like I woke up that way. Okay, now I'm going to do this underneath here with cowboy. See that little white area, and I got too much. See, I need to, see, this is what happens when you age. You see that? It collapses inward. It's nice, it's so nice to know that happened. But you can see, I'm just coloring. Do you see what's happening here? Like things get smoother. All right, do you see? I'm gonna see if you can do this. What color would I contour with? Cowboy. It's like a green, so it's got blue in it. So definitely cowboy. See, that has a little raised area. And right on top of that raised area, it catches light. So I'm putting a dot of cowboy over it. And see, look, I'm just gonna take it like a marker and color little light spots. And see how much product is still in my brush? Natural color and where? I feel like I'm pale. But thank you. See, I'm just turning my head and just, Look how little product I have to pick up. I'm not being precise. It just got easier. See how smooth, how much smoother? You're like a big giant baby. Pink. So if you have a lot of pink, which is going to be some violet, you could potentially use daisy. I believe that's, yeah, it's daisy. It's like the center part of a daisy. Look at it, it looks just like it. So daisy, and just so lightly, I mean so lightly, tone, but it's going to drop in some color. So if you need that color level to stay the same, then you could use daisy. If you need to pull back some of the color according to what's around it to match, then you could use like Y01 or even Y1 of the correctors. That would work really good. I don't even think I need any more product, but I'm just gonna barely touch it and watch. I'm sure I've got too much, but I'm just lightly gliding and coloring. See that light melasma area? Then it creates this white spot next to it. I'm just coloring that light spot beside it, and then what happens? See that jowl that's a little lighter? Just coloring it like a marker. See, that's a lot smoother. Love it. I love it. Then you look over here. Got too much. And then when I'm done, guys, I'm telling you, see those red spots? I got bit by something else. I felt it and scratched. All right, so do you see this red spot? And then you see this splotchiness? It's kind of like light pink skin. I'm just gonna add some depth to that by coloring around it. And you will see that, now look, I got too much product. It's okay. You got room to play here. Which makes it a little easier to use. Like, that's hard to do with the tanner, you know, really and truly. See how they're less red? And then this is smoother. Now look at this little jowl here. See that red spot there? Then it creates, I'm gonna go around it. And do you see how those two little red spots kind of disappear, and that got smoother? This is what we call the Demi method concept. Okay, I think I'm done. And I'm going to show you Brandy using the, let's see, do I want to use this one? Yeah, because I want to use it very, very lightly. Probably even smaller. The spot brush, the bigger end, I'm going to pick up Daisy. I mean, just a hint. And where I have a lot of violet tones, red, pink on my nose, I'm just going to warm up that coloring with Daisy. And that yellow of that is going to make it warmer. And these little sides, they're just very, very, and see how it's neutralized it, but it didn't subtract any color. It left the level of color. Locking it. All right, I'm going to now use another end of, now this, I'm just going to show you how I used the Lyra on my eyes, but you could use these. Or y'all tell me, what do you want to see on the eyes? The other day I did Lyra on my eyes and used the violet, but I really want you to see what happens with that. Y'all tell me. I'm going to show you a little bit of Lyra. Jeez, I got a little close in. I'm just going to get the tiniest amount. And I want you to show you don't have to be afraid of adding color. See, I have that dark area there. I'm going to go and add some little bit of violet tones with that cowboy into little light areas. And I want you to, it just like it made my eyes look healthy and alive and less frail, because I have mimicked blood flow underneath my eyes. I mean, the tiniest amount, tiny. Brown tones. Okay. We can do that. Look, just add a little bit of violet. Look at that. It's like it filled it in. I look less hollow just by adding some violet tones underneath. You see that? See that violet? And then this light area. Let's just go with it and watch what happens. It just, you would think it'd make you look like you had a bruised eye, but when you're on the mature side and you get some frail looking, you get holler in there. Just a little bit of violet. Do you see how that makes it look like I'm a little bit of alive in there? Okay, so if I'm wanting to have more of a brown tone, I'm going to switch to the spot brush, okay? And I'm going to, let's use Cowboy, okay? Only on one side of the brush. Thank you. Okay, so that is very purpley, so I need some yellow to go with that. So I'm not gonna put cowboy over that. So look at your eye, and anything that's super light that makes the eye come forward. Do you see how this is catching light and it makes that skin fold? You know, it's over top of that and coming forward. And this is super bright. I don't typically put like light colored eyeshadow on there, because all it's going to do is make my eye go to the back because of all of this depth close to my eye, and this bright is going to come forward and it's just going to make my eyes look recessed. I want it to be more warm and fit with the rest of my face. So just each eye's going to be different. And I'm just using Cowboy. Watch this, see that vein right there? I'm gonna take just the tiniest amount of Cowboy on that top part of that vein that's catching so much light, and add a little depth, and then I will subtract some of the color of that vein underneath it. Okay, that's just using Santa Fe. Okay, I'm going to use my cleaning towel. Do know though, the pigments will mix on your brushes and you need to clean your brushes, but there is going to be some pigment left behind in there, and it cleans so quickly, so easily with the brush cleaner. Works really well, or the soap, okay? But do you see that? It's very purpley, so I'm going to use some Daisy to counteract that, and you look, it makes it match that like super fast. All right, see this area there? I'm gonna use Cowboy to add a little more depth in there. Oh, what a feeling. I hear his music, do y'all hear it? See how that has a lot more, see, I added depth into that pocket and right in there, and so now this eye looks more sculpted. Now also, I like to warm this up. I'm gonna take away the coolness of the tattooed eyeliner. I love it too. That's the Cowboy is the one I used the very first time I used it. Then I used Lyra the second time, so. I want to warm that up and take away some of the blue in there. So I'm going to use Santa Fe and you can see it will warm it up. So yesterday I did Lyra. See how that made it more of a brown, because that orange in there counteracted that. Now this is not going to subtract it, it's just going to switch the color. If I want to subtract the depth of that color, I would use a corrector. Maybe we'll have correctors in this form too. Oh, I forgot. I actually would like to have a little depth of color right over here. It does, it tones it down, it warms it up. I like to have a little depth of color in here. I'm going to use Lyra. No, which end? There you go. That Lyra, right there. Now it's a purple, so purple has blue in it. It's not going. It's just going to add depth. Do you see how that added some depth in there? I'm not looking for a colored eyeshadow. I'm looking to sculpt my eyes. You can even take just a hint. See that really iciness? I want to add some color right there using Lyra. See that? Look, it just has more shape. Burgundy is called Honeymoon. I want to use it on my lips tonight. Tonight. Is it tonight? It's 4:30. It's close. Okay, which brush did I have? Okay, now I'm going to use Cowboy over here. I'm not going to go in there. It already has plenty, and it's a little purpley, but I will turn it around to match with that daisy, and I got too much on there. Yes, it can go in the eyes. Only ones you don't want near the eye are these three. And it may not bother you, but that's the reason why regulations, anytime, it's not just with Seint products, that this cannot be used in the eyes. Any pressed pigments that's red, they will not be called eyeshadows. That are called pressed pigments because they don't want you to use the reds on the eyes. Now, some people would not bother, so you just have that warning. Typically, I find it's people that already have issues. You know, there's some people that just can't wear eyeshadows. They're just, the skin is just super delicate. And see how each eye is different. And kind of blink and get that fold showing. And I'm going to add some color to that fold. I haven't, yeah. I sure can. I want a little pocket right there, but I want to bring it up right here. I'll show you where I would do the burgundy. I mean, you can do it anywhere you want, but I have an idea. I want to add a little color with that cowboy in there, just right in there. Okay, now I'm going to pick up Daisy. Trying to remember the brush that has Daisy in it. Just a hint of Daisy. And do you see how that Daisy turned that purple and it matched what was right next to it? So if you have a lot of violet tones on your eyelid and you want to tone it down and have something very neutral, Daisy's going to be your friend. Okay? I'm going to add a little bit of the violet, the Lyra, to match this side. Then I'm going to use Honeymoon. I'm going to use Honeymoon on my lips as well. Do you see how that just gave me a little depth in there? See how that's a I want to add a little depth to that. I don't want it to look too, a nice little fold of skin. Not being nice to me. Okay, so now let's use burgundy, and I'm gonna use the edge brush. That is called the edge brush, am I right? It's the one I use to fill in my brows, the other end. So let's use just a hint of, oh, gave me a thumbs up. Honeymoon. Now this is the difference between these two. All right, think of your Crayola box. This is red violet, and this is blue violet. So this is gonna have red with the more of red ratio, and this is gonna have more of the blue ratio. So this is going to give you a payoff more of red. So if you're looking for more of a red payoff with some violet tones in there, this is the one. So I'm going to use it above. You can tell I'm out in the overall area. You're gonna hear a lot of big trucks, and it's about time for them to come home from work and head back out because it's Saturday. Do you see how I'm just doing that? Just a little. Now, can you put this on bolder and go really heavy with it? Absolutely. I'm going above the eyeliner and just moving it up just a little. Do you see? You can just do all kinds of stuff with this. You just know that it takes very little. Okay, I'm gonna use that same brush, and I'm gonna do my lips. And I found every time I've worn this, how long it stayed on my lips all day. Especially the way I'm applying it. Now typically I just kind of like spot treat the lips, but I know some ladies are not going to take the time to do that. I'm just going to show you you can do so many different things. See that light area in there? I almost put honeymoon over here as a neutral because I don't know, it had a little, I feel like it's got some yellow in it, creating a neutral color with the red and the blue. And I'm just tapping it in. To add color around those light areas. I love it. I think I'm going to use burgundy on my cheeks as well. I think I will. But on my lips, now I'm going to use guava. I'm making sure that I've got that right. That is guava, right? Yes, I did put guava down there, yeah. I want to just take a hint of guava. You can use your fingertips. You can see it's like, takes so little. Now, you might see people use balms to, I'm not going to do that. I'm putting it right on there. And then I'll show you can take, if that's too much for you, but I like to have a little, look, a little gold flake in there. Do a little lip oil. Another pretty color. All right, let's do some cheek color. I'm trying to decide. I know Jacqueline mentioned about a bigger brush. I'm just gonna do both sides and I'll show you, okay? I'm gonna use, I don't know what, Okay, this is how I'm going to use Burgundy Honeymoon right now. I'm just going to pick up that much. See how little, and see this light little area? I'm going to add a little color to that. But you see when I use a bigger brush that what was a red spot did not show up for you. But you can see when I added depth of color to it, do you see how that picks up that red color? That's the reason why I don't use a big brush. But I can subtract that little dot. I've just created an extra step for myself. So if you have dry patches in your cheeks or flaky or red areas, then that's the reason why I find just using a smaller brush and just pinpointing the color. Look how pretty that is. I like that. I like it. What do you think? See that nice blue vein? I'm going to take a little bit of this Santa Fe and warm that up. I could use days on that too. Colors, yes, it's a pretty. Honeymoon is pretty. Honeymoon is pretty. I'm going to do the same thing here. Well, here on this side, I'm going to show you, I'm going to get the same results here as I did over there using a small brush. So let me show you. I'm going to take another point brush, and it is not more time. It's just filling in those little light areas. I got too much on my brush. I'm not going to sweat it. See, I have a red patch there. I'm just skipping over that. I got too much right there. See that little red area that's just the tiniest amount? And see, now I won't have to subtract anything because it's all matching. But you could do, I want to show you, you can do either way you want. And see, now my skin's probably going to be a little pink right here from touching it. Okay, really loving it. Now I want to do a little bit of that same color. Still have some on my brush. See, I'm not going to pick up any more. That's a habit I've got to understand. I don't need all that color. See that red spot? I'm just going to go around it. We've already added some depth of color. That's the other thing I love about these pressed pigments, that you can layer colors and still not get texture, makeup texture on the skin. See, look at there. And see how I don't have to do a lot of filtering over there, is that I will have to right there in that little spot. Okay, my feet are going to sleep. Let me cross them differently. Okay, I want a little bit of pink. So I'm going to switch brushes to another end of and I want to try the guava on the higher part of my cheeks. And see let's see if I like that. Oh yeah, I do, I like it. So I just want to add a little bit of flushing. Now I know I got up there, but I'm not like into the delicate part of the eye. I'm just adding a little bit of pink. Guys, love it. I'm loving that. I want to even add a little to the nose. Yummy. Just a little bit, just don't be afraid to take a little bit of pink and work with it. Let's see, down in here, just, you know, sometimes when you flush, you kind of flush to the side too. Cheek color does not, or flushing doesn't just stay in that area. So, and that's one thing we lose as we age is that pink in our skin. I see some ladies that are always like worried about their pink in the skin. It's like, I just did a girl's wedding makeup this morning and she had this, you know, of course she's very young and it's like all that beautiful pink skin. It's gorgeous. Okay. Now, you see I let that calm down? Or is that still the blue vein? I might have to, I want to experiment with something. You want to experiment? Let's play with something. All right, let's try this. In theory, that's a lot of color. Let's try it. Let's just the tiniest amount of days on top of that blue vein. Lousy, it takes little color. Little. Okay, days is pretty. That worked really nicely. I may have to subtract a little bit of color using the Demi corrector, but okay guys, I believe I'm done. That was easy. All right, let's use another end. I've got another point brush. And I want to use some 01 to subtract color, and it's going to be so much easier now. The other thing you can do is this. Let's say you want a little more orange in that, grab a touch of Days and a touch of the 01, and you've created another depth orange. I love that orange, Days. It's going to be pretty on the cheeks, everything. That's what I'm saying. It's so versatile. Don't get hung up. It's like this color for me, that kind of, it's so versatile. So versatile. I'm just got too much product. And now, because I found that correcting is so much easier with the pressed pigments now with the Demi correctors, because it drops in so much color that, remember these red spots over here? They're not as like, I really could get by. I've got a little bit of 01, just a hint. Just a hint, okay? Whatever bit me when I was out in the yard throwing straw, it got me. It's hard to see the side of your face, isn't it? So anything kind of pink, I'm using Wild One. That's the only two correctors I've in there. Sometimes I thought about putting Red One in there. I thought I might. And I'm just taking anything pink or red, some Wild One. Anything, you know, definitely those broken capillaries. You can, if I want more yellow, take a little bit of Dandelion and 01, Y01, and it's going to make, especially for your rich skin tone gals, and you need more of that to get rid of the violet tones here, and this subtracts it, makes it too, looks like toothpaste. Drop in some Dandelion into your cream product. The pigments you can be able to do so much with it. Not just what I'm doing here. I mean, it's just kind of like giving you the bones to what makeup is. You see that little spot right there? It's almost gone. But used to, in this area of my face, used to be strong, very dark hyperpigmentation. And little by little, it's just been lifting and lifting and lifting. And that used to be a very dark spot. Now it's just pink. It's just where it's the last little bit of it is lifting. So there's that blue vein. Just the tiniest amount of O1. I don't want to subtract all the color because it's in my cheek, so I'm just going to pixelate it to subtract some of the color. It's never the entire area. And don't get hyper focused on things. This is the reason why adding color first, like I did at the beginning, it makes everything easier. Remember that little spot and I added cowboy on the top? Now I'm going underneath it, subtracting, and look, it flattened it. Nice. Now, remember this vein? I added cowboy on top of it and it helped reduce that high contrast. Now I'm going to go under it. Don't follow it like a line. I don't know if you guys have one of these. There's nothing I can do about it. Do you see how I'm flattening? By the dark shadows I subtract, and then I added color where it was lighter. Nice. And the spot of my nose, and right there. And then I'm done. I'm done. I don't know how long I've been live. I hope it's not been too long. But this is the best way I know, just to get on here and just play with you guys. Nice, let's put on some mascara and I'm gonna look pretty going back out in the yard. And the other thing is you're not going to have to set it. It literally feels like nothing. That still looks like a dark spot, don't it? Or is it just me? Oh, it's a hair. I love this one. This is the one I don't know. Maybe it's the brush, but the formula is divine. She has done a really good job creating the formula for the mascaras. So this one is Silk. Now look at that burgundy. See how it settled down into the eyes, and then you have that pretty colors. It almost looks, there's some girls I've done in person that are young and they have all of that healthy volume in their eyes and they have all of that beautiful color and violet tones at their lash line, and it just makes them look, that's what makes them look youthful and healthy. We lose some of that. As time keeps ticking, we just lose some. Look, just give it a wiggle. I have blonde lashes at the root, so it looks like they disappear, and then I have that dark tattoo, and so it just, the mascara formula is so good. I thought that was an eagle flying up there in the sky. Just give it a wiggle. See, the brush has a short side and then it has a long side. So take that short side and wiggle into the lash line. And then I take the long one and we sweep and get some length on that. Don't poke your eye out with it. It's fun watching some mascara. It's like, okay, I'm just watching her put on mascara. But I love it. I love this formula. And then I want to show you how you can. Now, if you want a little bit of depth of color at the bottom lash line, I typically don't put them on the bottom lash line. I want the length and the depth above. Just take it and wiggle it a little. Another thing that we have is the lash brush, and you can touch into your lashes and touch that. I just remembered something I didn't do. Do you see it? I'll fix it. See, I told you I'd get distracted. But the other thing I love about this formula that's really hard to get in some mascaras is you can go back and add a second coat and not get all flaky and gunky into your lashes, and it just picks up more of those lashes into a second coat. Yummy. Okay, one thing I noticed that I didn't do over here is some Santa Fe into, now watch the difference. You're just going to warm up that tattooed eyeliner, and it's going to, yummy. That's a major difference. Another thing you can do is, which one had cowboy in it, is take a little bit of cowboy and just right here in the center, after your lips are done, just take it right in there. Just after, I know I did this before, just sometimes after you have your lipstick on, just add that little bit of depth right there in the center. All right, let's go play in the yard. Oh, I feel like I have straw dust all in my hair. It's okay. It's a good dry shampoo doing that. Okay, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Any questions about any of the products, anything I use, let me know. If you want to grab some to play along, go to outthegobble.com and you can grab these. They are going to release on the 17th. And I'm really loving the lip combo. Like, you can do so many different combinations. And it literally looks as if, when I first did this, I took a before picture, so I'll do an after. Thank you for being here, Jacqueline. The first time I wore it, and then we went somewhere, Mike was like, "Are you wearing makeup?" You know, and that's when I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Do I look like I'm not wearing makeup, or do I look bad or something?" He's like, "No, I was just gonna say it was just like I don't see any makeup on you." So when he said that, I'm thinking, "So you've seen it before?" And he said, "Yeah, but you look like you have it on, but you don't look like you have makeup on." And I said, "Okay." That's when I was sold. I was like, "Okay, I like it." That's what I want. I love it. All right, ask any questions. Thank you for joining in. Y'all have a great Saturday evening.